Would you believe me if I told you that at some point, as we parent our children, we become overly strict, which is not in the best interest of our children? My name is Jacquline Njeri, a counseling psychologist based in Nairobi, Kenya. I know you're doing the best that you can to raise your children well. You want children who are well rounded, you want children who are fully functioning. But at some point in our journey, we kind of assert too much control and pressure on our children that we end up damaging our children unknowingly. So are you too strict for your children? Number one, you never ask for their input, or you never ask for their point of view. Now this one is relative. Different households, different rules, of course. And when I talk about parenting, I have constantly said that there's no one size fits all. However, depending on the age of the child, let's say during breakfast, you've got different cups with different colors. Maybe your toddler just wants a yellow cup as opposed to the green cup that you give. Is it okay for you to actually ask them, would you want the yellow cup or the green cup? And you see what happens as a result. When you ask them, they have a sense of authority and they have a sense of autonomy, and they feel, yay, at least I'm in charge of something. Because for a child, they are under you as their caregiver, and you call the shots in regards to each and every aspect of their lives. So when you actually involve them in decision making as small as pajama or a cup or a spoon, it makes them feel good. For a bigger child, you would ask, whether they'd want to watch a certain movie or whether they'd prefer to eat out of eating. So these are some of the things that you just allow your children to speak their minds. And as you let them practice this kind of autonomy, you also get to learn the kind of child that you have, their personality, their temperament, and all that. Parenting is not all about control. You also need to understand the kind of child that you are nurturing. Number two, you focus on rules, routines, and restrictions. Like I have said times without number, most people want short-term results. So we'd rather not put in the work of being intentional, of being present. So what do? We will threaten our children into compliance. We will bribe our children into compliance, and we will put restrictions, and we'll put rules, and we'll put routines that favor us. Let's say I had a long day at work, and I feel like these kids need to go to sleep at 7:30, and normally they sleep at 9, and I'll come and threaten them to sleep simply because for my own convenience I need to have my me time. Parents, caregivers, you need to understand the art of flexibility with your children. You need to understand that you cannot afford to push your children to comply because they are afraid of what the consequences that will happen as a result of them not listening to you. You can try this instead. So observe other families around you. All right. So if you have neighbors, that's good. Or if you have friends who have kids, ask them how flexible they are with their nighttime routines and stuff like that. How flexible they are in terms of screen time. How flexible they are in, you know, playtime and all that, so that you can understand how you can balance it out with your family. Number three, you reward outcomes and not efforts. Now, there's a thinking that is, what do we call it? Create a black and white or right or wrong atmosphere. In reality, we always have a gray area, all right? So, and some parents refuse to be flexible, and they refuse to have the gray area, and they're either on this side, either it's black or white. And what happens as a result? You instill a lot of fear in your children to become perfect, because if they've not passed their exams, it means they are done. If they've not cleaned their room, it means they're untidy. If you ask them a question and they responded wrongly, it means they're not smart enough. So you understand the kind of pressure that you're putting on your child to want to become perfect, because they will do anything to maintain your love and validation and affirmation. So allow yourself to be flexible, allow yourself to have a look at the gray area, because you want to raise a child who understands that not everything is in black and white. Sometimes it's gray or blue. Sometimes it's gray. So allow your children to make mistakes and praise the effort. We focus so much on the end game, we forget to even praise our children for the effort they have put to get where they are. Praise the effort. Praise the time they have invested in studying. Praise the time they have invested in cleaning the dishes. Praise, and ultimately praise the fact that the house is neat, because praise the fact that they've performed well, like they've gotten an A or a B plus. So praise, so that you don't raise a person who is so much hard on themselves, because you've taught them to be hard on themselves, and they will always strive for perfection. In life, we are looking at progress over perfection. Number four, you frequently catch your children in lie or in an argument. Now this one I can relate it very well, because I'm raising a preteen right now, and as she gets her own autonomy, at some point she chooses to twist words a little bit in her favor, or she doesn't want to get in trouble. And how I was raised is, it was a very critical environment, all right? So my inner critic uh, is more alive than my inner cheerleader, but I've been working on it. It's a work in progress. Remember when you said therapists are wounded helpers? Yes. So these confessions will come at a later at a later time in another video. But so if you're constantly catching your child in a lie, then you need to press the pause button and ask yourself, how come? Because it is possible that you've pushed your child to the extent of them feeling that if they're ever honest with you, they're always in trouble. So they'd rather lie, they'd rather create stories, they'd rather create scenarios just to please you, as opposed to telling you the truth as it is. And the number of times that you found out that they lied, also, you blew things out of proportion instead of trying to understand what is the rationale behind their behavior, because there must have been a trigger for them to want to create such a lie. So be flexible. Do not force your children to lie to you. We are the ones, actually, believe me, we are the ones who force our children to become liars. We are the ones who coach them to be perpetual liars because of our reaction when we catch them in a mistake, or we catch them in a lie, or we catch them in an argument. Like I said earlier on, there's no one size fits all in parenting, but you need to be very intentional as you raise your children. Do not become too rigid. Also, do not become too flexible in the sense. So just create a balance. Again, it's neither black or white. Try to create a balance. Try to find a gray area in your parenting so that you can also raise children who are fully functioning, children who understand that it's okay to make mistakes, children who understand that they may not be where they want to be, but they are a work in progress, people who celebrate the milestones, as they work towards getting to the top of the pyramid. Let me know what you think. Thank you for being here. Bye bye.